And Prakash, when you saw the action as we're about to get the walkouts coming out, Danielle Collins is set to start against Ali Risk today. Collins lost the fewest amount of games yesterday. What impressed you about her play, Prakash?
Well, I mean, listen, I saw her play in Australia and Brisbane, and she just started off the year so hot, playing aggressive as she always does, and she kind of just picked up right where she left off. But what I was so happy about for all of the players was this was a chance to compete. Now, listen, you're going to make a few more unforced errors, maybe not feel as comfortable out there level-wise. But listen, they brought it, and the competition was very, very high. I was so happy we got to see that 4-3 in the third set in that last match. All of the players got to feel those pressure points, which are so different in a match as opposed to the practice that they've been having.
A lot of different things. No ball kids. Players got to get their own towels. Some matches had no acknowledgement at the end of the match between players. Chanda, what stood out to you as the biggest difference as we see Ali Risk coming onto the court now?
You know, I think it was for players having to get your own balls in between first and second serve. That takes a little bit extra time. You don't realize how players get into these routines under normal circumstances. So it took some adjustments, obviously, missing the serve, making sure the ball was off the court so that you wouldn't run into it during the point. Lots of little things that players were having to think about that would not ordinarily come into play. But it was nice to see how well they adjusted. And at the end of the day, it was just great to be back out on the court for them, I'm sure, playing tennis, playing some live matches, and, you know, sort of going through those reps.
Absolutely, Chanda. Now, they are playing best 2 out of 3 sets in a fast 4 format. What that means, no ad scoring, so when the game gets to deuce, it is 1 point to determine the winner of that game. 4 points, you win a game. There's a tiebreaker at 3-all. That's a 7-point tiebreak, win by 2. First to 4 games wins the set. Best of 3 sets. And Lindsay, this is a new format for the ladies. We see it in the next gen on the guys' side. What did you make of it?
I thought it was good. And I think for all the players, there's so many adjustments are going to have to make. And this is a perfect time to kind of experiment with new rules and new systems. And especially what Chanda was saying, it does take a while for the players now between points. There is not going to be a shot clock moving forward if it is up to the players to retrieve their own balls. And I think that helped kind of speed it up, the fast 4 format. The no ad, that is exactly to Prakash's point, a lot of pressure situations when it is no ad. Sometimes you can kind of scale away with the deuce ad, but right to the business with the fast 4 format.
Danielle Collins told us before this event that she had been practicing with local college players. She had gotten herself, Prakash, her own home gym. She's kind of like you, so she's been working out for 10 weeks.
Well, I chatted with her a few days ago, and you know what she said? She's been going heavy. She likes to train heavy. She hasn't really stopped that over this period. So I know she's hopefully made some physical gains. I know her tennis hasn't been as much as she would have liked if the season was going on, but she seems to be in great shape. Went off really well yesterday. I'm really looking forward to this first match. For me, this was going to be the match of the day for the Friday and Saturday. I got to see how Ali pulls up. She played 2 matches yesterday. One was very, very long. So hopefully it's not working on her body. Danielle had a pretty comfortable win yesterday, only played once. So I think the beginning of this match, super important for Ali.
Look at Risk right now. And Lindsay, when you think back to that last match, I mean, love 4, 4-0, and then that final set, it looked like it was all for Risk, and then Anisimova came back to force that tiebreak.
Yeah, you had Ali that was up. She had a match point, then the comeback from Anisimova. Then don't forget, Anisimova had 2 match points in that final set breaker, and it was Risk who was able to win the last 4 points and win that match. And it was great. That was the kind of pressure situations we have been missing so much on our air, and certainly for the players as well. This is why they play. This is why they practice, to be in situations like that. And Risk was the more clutch player yesterday.
The drama is always a part of our sport, Chanda. What did you think of the end of that match?
I thought both players really settled in and handled themselves nicely. You know, at the end, you saw Anisimova just pulling up a little with a couple of errors, but that's to be expected. This is exactly what you want, especially as you've been practicing for weeks, not knowing when you're going to start playing competitive tennis again. To have this type of match, see where your game is, have to go through those reps under pressure. You just can't recreate that in practice type situations. So I was impressed with the way Anisimova came back in this match, settled down, really played some good tennis, but it was impressive from Risk in the end, just being a little bit more solid.
Yeah, there was that one match point on a deciding point that Anisimova saved. Then you saw that Amanda Anisimova had 2 match points, one on her own racket. And finally, in the end, Ali Risk was able to come through. As Risk and Collins get set to go for our first match, Chanda, Prakash, we will see you at the end of this one. And Lindsay and I will have the call coming up next. It is our first match of day 2, the UTR Pro Match Series from West Palm Beach.
One minute.
And welcome back. UTR Pro Match Series presented by Tennis Channel. We are at a private residence, a private court in West Palm Beach, Florida. 4 top 60 players after day 1 of the round-robin standings. Danielle Collins and Ajla Tomljanovic both undefeated. Ali Risk got 1 win yesterday, but Amanda Anisimova still alive, got a set yesterday, able to make the final tomorrow. The top 2 from that list will play for a championship, and the bottom 2 will play for 3rd place. That is tomorrow, live here on Tennis Channel. You can see all the safety measures that are taken to make this a safe environment, socially distant. Each player has their own tent. Each player provides their own tennis balls. They have a bucket at the back of the court to put their marked tennis balls into. And there is 1 chair umpire, just 1 linesman outside of the court to call the serves. And everything has been put together to make this a live tennis experience that is safe and healthy. 84 degrees, mostly cloudy skies in West Palm Beach. The winds, Lindsay, Danielle talked about them yesterday. They were blowing in 16 miles an hour today, so that is still going to be an issue. We've got the drone overhead, so you get some fantastic shots of this court. And you notice those 2 jib cameras as well behind each player. Collins to serve first. That one's a little long, Lindsay. Break down the matchup between Risk and Collins.
Yeah, both these players actually very familiar with each other and friends off the court, practice together quite a lot. Both of them very good ground strokers and both like to change direction, dictate play. It's going to be very little that separates them today. I love what Prakash said when we were opening up is let's see how Ali's feeling today. She doesn't plan to play 2 matches in quite some time in one day and then to come back today. But Danielle really was so good yesterday. Collins and Tomljanovic were the players who were playing at the highest level on the opening day. Collins always brings that energy and that fire and was ready to go from the very first point.
Once again, you'll notice no ball kids. The players have to take care of those loose balls around the court.
(30-15).
And with these jib cameras behind each player, you get a special angle that you normally would not see. Normally, we would have fans behind each player. And it's a steady camera. Here we get to move around, see how the serve jumps up.
(30-0).
That was one of the areas of Collins's game on that first day that she wanted to see get better was her serve, and hitting her spots with more regularity. All the players, this has been an exceptionally long break for them, and all had different things that they wanted to work on after day one.
Deuce.
And that's
Starting points.
Collins
Choice.
and her toss. You've got to make sure that that toss is in the same location as often as possible, and that's made a lot more difficult on in these breezy conditions.
So deciding point, 1 point for this game. Risk determines which side of the court she'll receive in the ad side.
Game, Risk.
And pressure right from the start. Ali Risk gets the break to open up this match. This is the UTR Pro Match Series. What is UTR? Well, it ranks everybody in the world, from Danielle Collins and Ali Risk to you at home, within the very same system. Ratings between 1 and 16.5, and 3 factors go into that rating: the strength of your opponent, the score based on games won, and recent matches, last 30 matches within the past 12 months. So taking a look at this matchup, Lindsay, and Ali Risk checks all the boxes, but you can see Danielle Collins' UTR is much better than her actual WTA rank.
Yeah, Danielle has played at an extremely high level, but Ali Risk has been, say, playing some of her career best tennis these last few months. This match is much closer between the lines than the WTA rank would suggest.
The WTA rank based on your matches over the last year, whereas the UTR is constantly evolving depending on who you play and what the score was. So each player, as you can see, gets their own bucket of balls. Not supposed to touch the tennis balls of your opponent.
And they're all marked different colors, so it should be pretty clear to the players out there.
15 love.
Quick start for Ali Risk. Last year was such a special one for the American, who has now won 6 straight points. She got married last year. She got to her first Grand Slam quarterfinal, did that at Wimbledon. Had a couple of titles, one on the WTA level, one on a lower level. Also made some history at Wimbledon. First player to win a match under the new roof on court 1.
40 love.
Said she matured a bit later than her peers. Very emotional person. That was her biggest obstacle, and something that she's been working on with professional help, and that's really guided her to this career best level.
One of the great things about professional tennis, and especially on the women's side, is it's no longer a teenager sport solely, and players are playing some of their best tennis now in their late 20s, early 30s, and staying in the game much longer.
Game, Risk.
A hold at love, so
Risk
Allison
leads
Risk
2
able to
games to love.
consolidate this early break. You can see the wind even affecting those cameras behind the court. Closer look at that whirlwind year, 2019 for Risk. Her Tagenbach champ. She was her 2nd career title on the WTA level, also a runner-up 2 times. What stands out to you from all this?
The Wimbledon quarterfinals, every player dreams of making a deep run in a major, and to see that happen for Risk. And oh, by the way, along the way, beat #1 Ash Barty before losing a very tight match to Serena Williams. And how about getting to the top 20 for the first time? That is a huge career milestone.
Native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her older sister Sarah played collegiately at Vanderbilt. In fact, 3 of the players here in West Palm Beach had older sisters that played college tennis. The only one that didn't, Danielle Collins, was a 2-time NCAA champion at the University of Virginia. Ajla Tomljanovic's older sister actually played at UVA. Missed Collins by a year.
Oh, stops the
15
streak of 9 straight points for Risk with just a monster serve there.
$30-15.
How tough is it to control your ball toss in 16-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah, and you know that the winds are gusting even stronger than that at different times, and that's one of the biggest challenges is, you know, you think about the serve, and that is the one shot in this sport you have complete control over, and then you go into serving. You want to make contact in the same spot as often as possible, and the same is true with ground strokes and your serve. Much more difficult when the toss is moved around by those strong winds.
Let second serve. $40-15.
Opportunity here for Danielle Collins to get her first game. These sets go quickly, fast 4, so first to 4 games takes the set. If it gets to 3-all, they play a 7-point tiebreaker.
$40-30. Deuce.
And now another deciding point.
Receiver's choice.
Second opportunity for Risk to get a break. They had a deciding point in Collins' first service game.
And this, an even more important point than the first deciding point in the first game, where this set is almost guaranteed over. If Risk is able to win this point, Collins needs to get this game to stay in this shortened first set.
Game Collins.
The wind took that one, a whiff from Risk, and Danielle Collins escapes. Gets on the board, still down a break in windy West Palm.
Time.
The reopen continues live on Tennis Channel. UTR Pro Match Series from West Palm Beach, Florida. Allison Risk up a break 2-1. Had a great opportunity to take a 3-love lead in this first set, but the wind playing a big factor. I'll show you that point in a moment.
15-love.
So here it is, Allie Risk coming forward. And with an overhead, Lindsay, we've all been there.
Well, we were just talking about the toss and how tough that could be. The same is true for the overhead. Risk thought it was going to be in front of her. And gotta love Allie Risk and her sense of humor. Nice, lighthearted nature on the court. And these players are calling their own lines, except for the serve where they have a little bit of help from the service line judge. No question, Risk has been the most generous with her calls so far this weekend. She's played a few ouch balls.
40-love.
Well, we've seen that a few times, and you wonder, all right, players are calling their own lines. Are they going to try and get one over? But it's on TV, so they want to be as generous as possible.
So far. Yeah. It's early days. I don't think that'll leave with Risk. We'll see if this becomes the new norm.
Game. Risk.
Yeah, hold it, love. So now a game away from
Risk
taking this first set against Danielle Collins. Collins only lost 3 games all of yesterday. Already losing 3 games today.
Yeah, much different start for today for Collins, who doesn't have that feel. We were so impressed yesterday with her consistency, her ability to handle the pace of Anisimova, and just not happening today. A lot of missed shots early in the rally. Yesterday, Collins was able to keep 4, 5, 6 shots in.
Love 15.
Another double fault, second one for Danielle. These two played once before on the WTA level. Collins won that match 2 years ago in Madrid. It was close, though. 7-6, 3-6, 7-6.
all.
One of the things that's toughest for tennis players when they come back after an extended break are those quick reactions, the little steps, the subtle movements to get the racket back early, to get out of the way. And you're finding as this weekend is going on that the players are trying to get used to that.
15-40.
Risk able to dictate from inside the baseline, gets herself 3 set points.
Also playing with nice margin in these windy conditions, not going for the lines, pulling back just a little bit.
Well, another double fault for Danielle Collins, having some service issues, and Ali Risk takes the first set 4-1. The Reopen Tour continues live in West Palm Beach here on Tennis Channel. UTR Pro Match Series Day 2, and Allison Risk out to a hot start. Takes the first set 4-1 against Danielle Collins. First set that Collins has lost in this event. Best 2 out of 3 sets. First to 4 games. And Risk to serve to start set number 2.
Love 15.
This is the first women's pro tennis event since the coronavirus pandemic lockdown in early March. Some more events been popping up. We're excited about one in Charleston coming up June 23rd here on Tennis Channel. Risk will be there as well. The last two major champions, Sofia Kenin, Bianca Andreescu. And if you're wondering about the U.S. Open, still haven't made a decision. But, Lindsay, big news today. The U.S. is going to exempt foreign athletes from the coronavirus-related entry ban, plus their staff, their families. And that goes for the ATP, the WTA, as well as many other sports.
Yeah, a real positive sign for at least some hope that the U.S. Open will happen, and we'll have some big events coming up at the end of this summer, hopefully later this year. You know, that was a real concern for players coming from overseas. One, can they get in the country? But two, it's not easy to quarantine for 14 days, lose all that time practicing your trade, and then go play a big event. So it gives it a little bit more hope that maybe we will see Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal on American soil sometime this summer.
Let's second service.
All four of these players currently reside in the United States. Tournament in Charleston. You have a couple of Canadians that are going to be coming in.
Yeah, we were wondering how the U.S. Open champ Bianca Andreescu could potentially play coming from Canada.
(40-15).
And these UTR Pro Match Series events, there was one with the men a couple weeks ago that Riley Opelka won. Really led the way in showing that you can play tennis safely in this new normal era.
Let's for service. (40-30).
One of the best shots Collins has hit so far today. Better contact with that return, went after it. Most importantly, stayed with it. Sometimes if you start to pull off or pull your body weight to either side, that's when the errors start to creep in.
Deuce.
And we start this set with the deciding point. 1 point for the game. Collins able to choose which side Risk will serve to. Going back to the ad side.
Game, Collins.
And a double fault for Risk gives the game
First
to
game,
Collins. A reminder that over the next 2 weeks here on Tennis Channel, relive last year's Roland Garros tournament as it unfolded day by day. Beginning Monday, catch all the action from the first round through the finals and tune in for brand new editions of Tennis Channel Live, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Roland Garros, there's Amanda Anisimova getting ready to go for the next match, and she was a semi-finalist First player born in the 2000s to make a semifinal at a Grand Slam. Did it last year at 17. She's now 18. But what a run she had, and we'll be able to relive that throughout the week. Roland Garros was supposed to start tomorrow, Lindsay. We would be in Paris right now.
Yeah, it was a breakthrough event for Amanda last year. Great to see her in action this weekend. But excited to relive one of the best stories of last year's tournament with Amanda's run, that unexpected run to the semifinals.
Beat Simona Halep, the defending champ, and then was up a set and 3 love against eventual champion Ash Barty. All 4 of these players in West Palm Beach made their career highs last year. Collins got to 23 in the world.
And 3 of the 4 had such remarkable results at a major. It was Collins at the Australian Open, Risk at Wimbledon getting the quarterfinals, Amanda the semifinals of the French Open. Tomljanovic still looking
15.
for that type of breakthrough. Made a round of 16 6 years ago, but hasn't gone any deeper than that.
Second ace for Collins. It's a good sign at the start of this set because serve was an issue. Collins' last event before the lockdown was the Australian Open this year. Win this match and she is into the championship tomorrow. For Ali Risk, needs to get a little bit of help, plus a victory here. Collins will play twice today. The serve, Lindsay, is something that Danielle has talked about improving and needing to get better at.
Yeah, and that was one of the things, even though she won pretty easily yesterday, that was the one area of her game she was most displeased about, was the serve, the consistency, the accuracy. And we're seeing today some double faults, but missing the mark by a lot also. Doesn't have that range yet.
40-30.
Is that the toughest stroke when you're coming back from a layoff?
It can be. It all depends on how much time you've taken off, and for a lot of players, how natural that shot is. For a lot of the players on the WTA Tour, it's not a natural shot. And so for the players that have maybe a more fluid motion, a more natural throwing motion also, it would be a little bit more comfortable.
Game, Collins.
Now Collins pulls through, so a 2-love lead here in the second
Collins
set
leads
consolidates
2
that
games to
break.
love.
And there is the tennis power couple, Ajla Tomljanovic, coming up next, chatting with world number 8, Matteo Berrettini. Pretty good quarantine couple. They're able to hit with each other, been spending some quality time. Check them out on social media, some of the workouts that I think Berrettini was like pulling her in a sled. And
Now, they were scheduled to play in Indian Wells when Indian Wells was really the first major sporting event to announce its cancellation because of the coronavirus. And players didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know if tournaments would restart in a week or 2 weeks, or nobody knew. So Matteo Berrettini went back to Ajla's home base in Boca Raton, Florida. They waited, and by the time they heard there was cancellation, he couldn't get back to Italy. Stayed in Florida, and they've had the luxury of being able to practice. Not everyone has had that kind of access.
15-all.
Tomljanovic said if you're happy off the court, definitely going to help your career. And they've been trying to skip the Netflix, use their time for more productive things, cooking, learning languages.
30-15.
Oh, great stuff.
30-all.
These players finding their range.
Now that forehand cross-court all of a sudden has started to find its mark for Collins, and it's the combination of the pace but also the spin. She gets us to go off the court and just finds that perfect angle too far from Risk's reach.
$40-30. Deuce. Deciding
This is a
points,
big one.
receiver's
Deciding
choice.
point. Collins in the same situation that Risk was in the first set.
Seems
Chance.
like today we've had more deciding points in this match than we saw yesterday in any of those 3 matches. And again, the players not used to this scoring system on the regular tour. In the doubles, yes, they do play this kind of system, but in the singles, this is a new adventure.
Game.
And Collins takes it. The pressure points going to Danielle right
Collins
now,
leads
up
3 games to
love in the second set. Degrees, it's sunny, you got the beach, and we have live tennis for you. Allison Risk up a set. Danielle Collins 1 game away from forcing a third. Steve Weissman alongside Lindsay Davenport. I want to welcome all our viewers on the Chicago Cubs Marquee Network, the Yankees Yes Network, CW34 in West Palm Beach, Sinclair family of regional sports networks. Just as the sport of tennis led the way for safety, first major sporting event canceled because of COVID-19, Indian Wells, tennis has led the comeback as well.
$15.
Steve, do you feel like the level is higher today or the same?
About the same.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a little bit better. I don't know. Just a little crisper. Conditions are a little tougher. Risk got much better in that second match yesterday against Anisimova. You feel like the more reps players get, the more comfortable they'll be, the more their shots start to find the mark.
You find that it's a lot about matchups as well, and that could determine the level of play?
Yeah, except when you first come back, you're more worried about yourself. The more you play, you start to worry more about your opponent and what they can do. But in the beginning, it's all about your own shots, your own concerns. Where is the rustiness?
3 break points here for Risk to get a game in set number 2. She's got it. Strong forehand winner. Allie Risk on the board.
3 games to 1.
Collins trying to stand right up on that baseline, and it's not easy to do if Risk finds her depth, finds her range, gets a little bit more pace, and because of that, Collins giving her a short ball there, a much easier one for Risk to put away.
Love.
Nice overhead shot of this private court in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's a different angle that we normally don't get.
That's a great combination there, especially in these breezier conditions. A body serve, such an effective serve. Gives you a bigger target, and Collins unable to get out of the way of this return and sets Risk up for that easy second ball. Similar to baseball.
You need to crowd the batter a little bit. You've got to hit all your locations, and Riss did it perfectly there.
Nice drop shot from Collins.
30 off.
Along that theme, who do you think are the best location servers in the game right now?
Oh, no question, Serena. When she is serving even above 75% of her abilities, she has the ability to hit all 3 of the big targets with the same toss. A lot of the players, because of their technique, give away their location with the toss that they throw up. Federer
40,
and Serena, the 2 best, of able to go anywhere at any time and without giving away the location.
Another game point for Risk.
Use.
Here's a decider.
Deciding
It's also
point,
a set point.
Receiver's choice.
And for Serena Williams, she can do that and also have the most power. Greatest server we've ever seen in the women's game. Oh, could not
Damon,
get
second
there
set.
in
Collins.
time, and
4 games
Ali
to
Risk
1.
laughing about
New
it.
balls, please.
Couldn't stop herself. And Danielle Collins forcing a 3rd set. Fun match here in West Palm.
Collins. 4 games to 1. New balls, please. New balls, please.
Back live in West Palm Beach, headed to a 3rd and deciding set. How about the way the 2nd set finished? You will rarely see a point like this ever. Danielle Collins hits a drop shot that goes back onto her side of the court. Incredible spin.
Yeah, I'm not sure she meant, though, for that to be a drop shot. She was reaching for a quality first serve of Risk, got that insane amount of spin, and able to bounce it back on her
Final
side.
sets. Collins to serve.
Sometimes see those off a Federer racket.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or Kyrgios.
Yep,
actually tries to make it happen.
haven't seen it off a Collins racket till today.
Love 15.
Shot that would make Phil Mickelson proud. You ever hit a shot like that? Where you spin, hits on one side and
On
comes
rare
back?
occasion, on total accident, like total mishit, like you're reaching, you just carve enough of it. What a great sport Ali Risk is, though. We saw her earlier in the match swing and miss an overhead. Also rarely seen on the Pro Tour. Got a good laugh about it. And that last one on set point, no less. Another extremely rare shot. And again, a giggle about it.
Second service. $15-30.
As we enter this third set, Lindsay, what are the keys for each player?
And especially with this shortened format. And players used to playing to 6 in the traditional scoring, today just to 4. Quick start in these sets. You just don't have a lot of time to make up a deficit.
Perfectly played.
15-40.
Huge hitting, and Risk there really targeting the forehand corner of Collins, running around to get a backhand earlier in the rally to set herself up for that forehand.
Triple break point.
Game, Risk.
A great start for Ali Risk.
First game, final
Gets a
set.
break to start this final set. Reminder, you can win a week of training at the IMG Academy. Register for free UTR match play event by June 5th. Go to myutr.com. Congratulations to the winners of the first round of this sweepstakes. Bennett and Peter, 2 juniors from Massachusetts, each got a free week of training at the IMG Academy. One more chance to win that. Go to myutr.com and schedule a match play event.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about UTR with the USTA and their tournaments shut down for the time being. UTR events are going around globally and in all different levels, adults, juniors. They're having them in a lot of different areas, so very important if you do want to play competitive tennis to check out myutr.com and find an event in your area. And that's going to be so key for everybody moving forward. Is it's going to be local tennis that is really going to be what kicks off first for the recreational player.
$15 left.
Take a look at the ranking trajectory for Ali Risk. Been going up, and how about staying within the top 100 since 2014?
Yeah, and not easy to make that big a jump after about 5 or 6 years between roughly 50 and 100 to all of a sudden improve so much to be able to get into the top 20. Next test is to stay there and then to make that next jump into the top 12, top 10.
Right now, the 4th highest ranked American, Sophia Kenin at 4 in the world. Serena Williams and Madison Keys ahead of Risk. Ali was really looking forward to potentially representing the United States of America at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Obviously, that has been postponed to 2021. See if Ali can stay within those top 4 American women. Get to represent the Stars and Stripes, something you did so well, winning a gold medal.
Yeah, the ranking clock for the Olympics was officially on after last year's French Open, and these players were battling for one of the 4 single spots, and it looked like Kenin, Serena, Madison, and Ali Risk were going to make it. Right now, there's such great depth on the women's side. Coco Gauff just outside the top 50. What a 2019 young lady had. But now no one, everything on hold. No one really sure what will happen for the Olympics if it goes on in 2021.
Finds the line
15,
there.
30.
Right now, the rankings are frozen from around early March. And both the ATP and WTA are waiting to see what happens when tennis restarts, what they're going to do about the rankings. A lot of ramifications with those rankings.
30-0.
Lost her bracelet there. It's the Cartier nail. That's an expensive piece of jewelry. Sophia Kenin bought herself one of those after winning the Australian Open.
Say, your eyes are amazing. I was just still trying to figure out, was that a bracelet?
It's what having a girlfriend does for you.
$30-40.
Opportunity here for Collins to get back on serve after this match. Still adjusting that bracelet. We'll be joined by the president of UTR, Ann Worcester. Looking forward to that.
Deuce. Deciding points, receiver's choice.
Another deciding point, and this fast 4 format really encourages those pressure situations, important points. First to 4 games wins the set, and no ad scoring.
Game, Collins.
And Collins gets it. The grunts are getting louder, Lindsay. The intensity is heating up here.
1 game off.
Yeah, we didn't hear that kind of noise yesterday, but again, stakes a little bit higher today. As you said, Steve, the intensity back for these players.
In the press conference before this event, Danielle said, I'm going to shout, come on, I'm going to get in Ali's face. And Ali said, well, I don't really do that whole trash talk thing. doesn't affect me well.
Yeah, Risk, a fierce competitor, but a much more quiet competitor. And he's done such a great job these last couple of years of getting better with the mental part of this game, the belief, the confidence.
Riss said she played Dubai, Doha, had a couple nagging injuries. And she said, honestly, if this break didn't come, she was thinking about taking a little bit of time just to get things under control, get her mental game in the right space. Another one just outside of the outstretched arm of Ali Risk.
Yeah, again, the wind making it so tricky to judge those types of shots. And Riss tried to reach it. Wasn't quite a swing and a miss, just couldn't quite get there. And Collins playing the conditions perfectly there.
Love.
And now the serve starting to heat up for Danielle. 40 love. Sometimes hard to tell whether these balls are in or out. You don't hear that call that we're used to from a linesman.
That would be one of the critiques that I would have is having the chair umpire, since there is a chair umpire for these matches, be more vocal about what the player's call was. It is hard to tell. Players, when they play practice sets, it's very subtle. It's pointing balls out or a slight acknowledgement between them.
It was wide, yeah.
Oh, that was our first big come on from Danielle, and a little too soon as the serve was called out.
Again, no call made.
Right.
And that's tough for even the players on the court, let alone the fans at home.
40-30.
Fast four, but slowed down play with no ball kids.
Use.
And what a comeback from Risk in this
Deciding
game,
points,
from
receiver's choice.
3 straight game points for Collins to deciding point again, Steve. Seems like almost every game is going to deciding point.
And Risk comes back. Now up a break, 2-1 final set. Allison Risk looking to get the victory to start out day 2 in West Palm Beach. Beautiful look at our producer Ross Schneiderman's, one of his condos, one of his many residences in South Florida. Allison Risk up a break, 2-1, final set against Danielle Collins. It is start of action here on day 2 of the round robin play. We'll have our championship match tomorrow here on Tennis Channel.
Love 15.
If Collins wins, she is into the championship. Risk needs to win and get some help.
Talked about how difficult these conditions have been today on the server. And for these players who haven't been in a competitive atmosphere, for Collins, it's been since January. Took a little bit of a break after the Australian Open, obviously not knowing that the tour would have to shut down in March. So it's been a while for her.
It's beautiful.
15-30.
Had that abdominal injury, so was not able to compete for a little while. Said this time off has actually helped her to get over that and not having to play in some tournaments that she would have otherwise. But got back on court a little earlier because the rules more lenient in Florida, and had some local college players she was able to hit with.
Oh, that's just beautiful
30-0.
tennis from Risk, fighting off the hard ground stroke of Collins to turn the tides in that rally.
$40-30.
Collins trying to be more aggressive with the returns, has moved in to try and take those earlier. Might get a hold here, Steve.
Not yet.
Game.
And that goes long, so we do get a hold. Allison Risk game away from taking this match.
Risk leads 3 games
Under
to
Pressure
1.
by Queen, one of the songs that Danielle Collins has on her Pandora playlist. She is under pressure right now. You can find all of Danielle's playlist as well as Allison Risk and Ajla Tomljanovic under Tennis Channel West Palm Beach Reopen Tour playlist on Pandora.
Love.
Danielle likes the pressure. Stepping up here. Remember, if she wins this match, she is into the championship tomorrow. Top 2 players going for the top prize. Allison Risk still needs some help. Collins and Tomljanovic both winning yesterday. Risk 1-1. And Amanda Anisimova losing both of her matches yesterday. Oh, that's special.
15-0.
Now the level and the shot making has definitely gone up as this match has gone on, and now players really starting to go for their shots even more, and Risk, especially with that backhand up the line. We've seen a couple of just beautiful winners.
she's staying with it, Linz.
15-30.
2 points away.
And one of her best shots, Risk, is that backhand, that short take back, that ability to change direction. She's using that one well today.
And now triple match point for Allison Risk, keeping her championship hopes alive. Risk for reward, still alive for the championship match. Allison Risk gets the victory in 3 sets against Danielle Collins.
A fantastic playing today from Risk. Fought so hard to win her second match of the day yesterday and able to get through today's match.
And there's the racket tap. Both players acknowledging each other, a little smile at the end as well. It was an entertaining match, some pretty fun points and a high level.
Very high level, especially considering the conditions, and that moves Risk to 2-1 in her group. She has the luxury now of waiting to see what happens. She has played all 3 of her round robin matches, so she is done for today. She'll find out a little bit later what match she'll be in tomorrow, but now really Tomljanovic controls her own destiny, and she'll play the next 2 matches out on court.
And Danielle Collins still with some hope as well, as she has 1 more match to go. Amanda Anisimova there at the 4th position. As we welcome in the winner of our first match here on day 2 is Ali Risk. I believe, are you putting the score into the My UTR app right now?
I am putting in the score, and you know what? I'm so excited about it because it means I won a match here this weekend, so I'm pumped.
Ali, you've won 2 matches. Congratulations. You had the big comeback.
That's true.
That's true. Yesterday, and once again winning today. What stood out to you in this match?
Yeah, well, to be honest, yesterday I was pretty nervous. And, I played some scrappy tennis, and Ajla obviously played really well. Amanda gave me a run for my money, so I was just looking to come out today and try to play my brand of tennis, and you know, try to be aggressive, first ball tennis, and you know, not double fault as much. And I think I handled it a little better today.
Well, we talked to your brother-in-law Prakash before the match, and he was wondering how you were going to hold up after playing 2 matches yesterday, after not competing for a while and having to play first on today. How did your body feel getting back out there today?
That's hilarious. I was super tight about that. But you know what? I just have a little groin tightness. Other than that, I'm okay. And you know what's really cool about this series is we're able to wear wearables, and I have my Whoop on right now, which is something I use to train with. And it said my recovery was in the green, which I rarely get that. So I was like, I'm ready to go today.
So, Ali, is it the crowd that's around you right now that you're whispering you don't want them to hear, or...
Oh, am I whispering? Sorry, my bad. Let me be louder. I'm here, guys.
We had 2 really entertaining points that you were a part of in this match. One of them, you come forward, you had a great chance to hit an overhead, and then what happened?
Yeah, exactly. On 2 points, the same darn thing happened. And I was like, if this doesn't show rust, I don't know what does. You know, I had no air underneath me. I don't think I even left the ground, even though I tried to. And they just kind of floated by me in slow motion. So
don't worry,
unfortunately, it didn't happen once, but twice.
We were blaming the wind, not you. So all good. Don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I can't blame everything on the wind, so that was definitely me.
Well, congratulations, Allie, on the win today. Still alive to make the championship tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
All right, Allie Risk, everybody. When we come back, we will talk to the president of UTR and Worcester. Don't go anywhere.